Welcome everybody to today's video. In today's video, I'm gonna show you my game against a Chinese prodigy, 16 years old and rated 1641. But guess what? Having a performance of 2351. The guy literally did not lose any single game in this tournament. And I had to face him and to show him the Russian school of chess. Let's go. The game started with d4. I usually play d5, but in today's game, I did play d5. The Russian sense of humor. d5, c4, and here, usually, I take on c4. I played the Queen's Gambit accepted, but in today's game, I did declined e6. Truth is, I'm working on my opening repertoire. I'm trying new things. I, as everybody should, want to grow my chess to become an IM maybe. Knight c3, knight f6. Actually, I should flip the board. So yeah, I'm recording this on the 2D board. You're gonna tell me in the comments down below if you like it or not. C takes d5, e takes d5, bishop g5, bishop e7. So far we're in theory. e3, c6, bishop d3, short castle. Here, for some reason, my opponent started to think. And I was like, well, if he thinks, then I have time to take a soup. That's right. Sounds pathetic. But I woke up to the breakfast, had a very late and very big breakfast together with my best friend Andrea, and then had no time to take a lunch. When I came back, my opponent played queen c2. And after h6, bishop h4, knight e8 was my line. Definitely no chance my opponent was prepared for that. Bishop g3, knight d6, knight f3. Here I have a plan, like bishop e6, putting my bishop here, and then the knight on d7. Short castle, knight d7. The only problem is that I had no idea what to do after. Well, I'm actually lying. I could understand what to do, but I didn't remember my prep. Luckily, my opponent played h3, the move that is pretty rare and wasn't in my files. So I took a sip of thought. That's definitely not a saying, and played a5. Knight e2. This is very smart. This move completely knocked me out, mentally. The knight wants to come to f4 and attack the bishop. And black has to come up with a plan. But what is the plan? Slowly I started realizing that I might not have equalized at all. a4, I played, you know, the crop technique that I showed to you before. Knight f4. And obviously a3. If no one stops the a pawn, the rule goes you have to push it straight forward. b3, rook c8, rook a c1, and I gotta do something. Man, I cannot move any piece. Why not? I don't like to play knight f6 to go to e4 because then I would give my opponent the e5 square. I don't want to do that. I have to be careful because somewhere there is knight takes e6, pawn takes, and then bishop h7, king h8, and then maybe knight e5, and then knight g6. I mean, it can be annoying. So the point is the knight here on d7 has to guard this square on e5. And yeah, like this is pretty it's pretty passive for me. Like literally none of these four pieces, they look cool, but they are actually pretty not cool. Like you don't know what to do. They kind of control the center, but where do you put? And you can see in the evil bar that black is really bad out of this opening. So I did a mental game here. I started to think, okay, how can I provoke him into creating weaknesses, like strategical weaknesses. I've been telling this to you before. Whenever you play with kids, you gotta go for strategy because kids can only calculate. They calculate like X ply, but they don't think strategically. They just simply they don't have the experience for that. And plus, this is my style. So I figured out if I threaten this pawn break c5 in the center, which is why I also played rook c8 and he played rook c1. If I play something like b6, then there is a high chance he might be annoyed by c5 and think that he's doing a prophylactical thing very actively, b4. But b4, which he did, is a terrible strategical mistake because now I twist it all around. I play b5. And after this move, now I got the outpost on c4 for my knight. Exactly. Isn't that amazing? And the best thing about it is that it's so easy here for white to fall into a trap of going after a pawn, which has absolutely no value. In fact, for white here going after the a3 pawn will be equal to giving up the game entirely. You'll see why. It happened in the game. Queen b3, knight to c4. Actually not the best move, by the way. Bishop to f5 would have been better, but okay, this is like, I only realized it like after my game. Well, the thing is, I still have this place. I mean, maybe he also has to move the bishop. I still have the square on c4. And then, like, it's basically the same idea that happened in the game, but better. You will see why. After knight c4, I thought, cool, he wants to go for the pawn, he's gonna take the knight. Then I take the b pawn, and you know, this a file and b file are gonna be mine. Knight e6, because he wants the full control. Pawn takes e6, and now bishop takes c4. He doesn't want me to take with the d pawn, which I wouldn't do anyway, because, like, when I see these two pawns, b4 and a2, I know they're mine. So queen a3, queen b6 first. We attack on b4, only move rook b1. Now rook a8, queen b2, and rook a4, simply establishing the dominance. The annoying part about this position is that computer completely disagrees with me. a3, rook f a8, and now queen c2. And here comes the biggest question. Strategically, white is already lost on the queen side, but practically, they gather some activity and some counterplay, and it's very annoying with the queen g6. I have two options. Either I go fast for taking the pawn, taking the a3 pawn, taking the b4 pawn, and then promoting to the queen, or I do prophylactics, the basics of Russian school of chess. If you follow me already, you know. Knight f8, controlling the g6 and the e6. Then I didn't like knight e5. Rook takes a3 and queen e2, and the queen comes to g4, and then still gonna annoy me. I realized in the analysis that this would have been better to what I've done in the game, because instead I thought I would have won the tempo after rook takes a3, but here comes queen g6, knight f8, queen g4, and now actually white has a threat, which is bishop e5. And I am so pissed at Stockfish to see that white is better here. I disagree. Stockfish, I claim a divorce. I mean, man, here I had like 45 minutes and my opponent had 20. And I spent the whole 20 minutes trying to understand how do I stop the counterplay, and I couldn't see. Like, I analyzed everything here, but nothing was working. There was this beautiful line bishop b4, but it's just like bishop e5, okay, maybe rook a7, and then bishop d6, I saw that all, rook b3, but then he just takes the knight, bishop takes, and then he takes on e6, and I thought black was still better, but white had enough counterplay, so I didn't like this. But truth is, white is like almost winning here. This is annoying. Okay, on a serious note, for me, I was doing everything amazing. So I played this queen d8. I think it's a great move because I want to do bishop f6 on bishop e5 to stop the main, but I also control the d6 square, remember? In those lines, if bishop attacks the knight that protects the pawn on e6, then he's going to be out. Like, the square, I control it. The d6 is not going to be possible. b5 was the move that I expected. I also thought of knight e5, but I guess here I can just play either queen e8 or queen c8 and protect both pawns, and life is good. So b5, I thought black was great. I took, and then rook takes, but now it turns out the move I wanted to do, rook b3, rook takes b3, pawn takes b3, I did not like because of knight d2. And not even actually knight d2, I'm wrong, rook b1. And then queen b6, and then just knight, like, d2. And it's like, actually, wait, it doesn't work. No, bishop e5 here, yeah, bishop e5. Oh man, that seems scary. And if we go for the queen, I mean, who's gonna be first here? Actually, the only move possible is king f7. Who can see that? I mean, this is pathetic. I mean, obviously, when I see this, I don't want to deal with that. I didn't go for rook b3, and you have to understand that rook b3 would have been the best strategical move because I take out the most active piece of white, or one of the most active. And there is a threat. There is like rook wants to go to b7, so instead I played this super passive rook a7. And if you look at the position of black, you realize that black has just been going back, and it's pretty sad. And now he goes e4, and I don't know what to do. I thought I had a passed pawn, and I was going to push it, but then I just realized that now the bishop will come to f4 and protect the promotion square, so I don't even gonna have a threat. And here I just didn't know what to do. I played queen d7, rook b6, really good play because he wants to go to e4, and it turned out that the best move would have been just to take on e4, but because I come from Russia and I stand with the Russian school of chess, for me, a pawn chain is such an important factor, it's like a principle, that I did not even consider capturing, which is super wrong because when you're gonna study my course on how to play chess, you're gonna learn that checks, captures, and threats are the most important things one needs to do when coming up with a move. Rook b6, here it's annoying because like they want to go bishop e5, attack, and then when I go bishop d8, they want to go rook d6. So I played queen c8, and after bishop e5, I started blaming myself for playing bishop d8 and not bishop a3, because I thought maybe rook b1, but I forgot that I had this idea of c3, and if rook b8, then just c2. Well, he probably wouldn't go for rook b8, but it's super frustrating to see that the knight can always stop the pawn. So fast forward, my move bishop d8 turned out to be good. Rook d6. I have to push c3. I have to distract him because he's already attacking my pawn. And I don't have any time advantage anymore. Rook c1. And here turns out that if I push the c2, then again he's gonna like literally win my only pawn. So I just don't know what to do, and I'm low on time, and I blundered. I did blunder. The best would have been again to take on e4, which I did not consider. I honestly should study my own course. So instead I go queen c4. Oh my lands, double question mark. But knight e1. I'm so lucky my opponent doesn't find the winning move, which I let you pause the video to find the winning sequence. It's e takes d5. Pawn takes d5, and now you got it. Rook takes h6, exactly. I mean, honestly, black should resign. I saw him taking time, and I was here already under 2 minutes while my opponent was above 8, and that was so scary. I could tell he didn't see capturing on d5 simply because he was taking time. Mind games. Chess is a mind game. Knight e1, and here I go for the practical approach. Obviously, again, taking on e4, but it wasn't my candidate. I don't know why. I was just shadow banned. Like, this move was shadow banned in my head. I was just, I don't know, blind in this direction. So I came up with this funny idea of bishop g5, which is question mark. I mean, this game, what is this game? I mean, honestly, I'm gonna show you my other games, which were way better. Let me know in the comments down below if you want to see more of the games, because this is round 6 of Reykjavik Open, but I took a gap of 3, 4, and 5 rounds. I want to know if you want to see those games as well or not. I would also appreciate if you could hit the button subscribe. We go f4, and here, it's my time to shine. Rook a1, come here, baby. The only winning move for white here is f takes g5, but sacrificing the rook takes on h6 and sacrificing the knight. And black is entire rook up, but white's attack is so strong that the only way to protect is to give away the queen by playing queen c7. I mean, this is some insane line. He wouldn't have never found it. H takes g7, and after knight h7, white wins by force after rook d8, and if queen d8, saving the queen, then queen e6, checkmate! Man, black has 2 extra rooks here, but it's a checkmate. Okay, well, obviously I wouldn't fall for the checkmate. I would have to go give the rook, rook takes d8, and then give the queen, the rook takes d8, bishop takes, rook e4, but okay. Okay, so I was lucky, but we were both under time pressure. So my opponent got afraid to sacrifice the rook, which is pretty understandable. I mean, you gotta have balls to do that. So rook takes a1, and rook takes a1, and from now on, white is lost. F takes g5, rook takes c1, king h2, and here goes the last and the most important moment where I was so proud of myself. I was so proud of myself. So black has 2 options, either to go queen f1 or to go h5. And at the first glance, it looks like h5 is so much easier. We attack the queen, and after queen takes, there is no threat, right? g7 is not hanging anymore, and queen f1, and we just checkmate. But what if my opponent does a Bota's gambit and plays rook d7, the rook? If I take the queen, then there is this insane rook g7, king h8, and perpetual. I mean, white can go simply anywhere, like even to g6, and then just rook g7 and perpetual. And one would say, but the rook is hanging, Dina. So yeah, well, if knight takes the rook, then queen e6. And I thought this wasn't winning, but it turns out it's just lost in two, like just a checkmate coming. King h7, g6, king h8, queen e8, knight f8, queen f8, checkmate. But I found it. So queen f1, and here I had to calculate the line, which I saw. So g takes h6, attacking the mate, but black checkmates first. Queen g1, king g3, rook e3, king h4 has to go, and rook e4. And after bishop f4, we just sacrifice the rook. Actually, I should have told you to find this. Well, in the game, he did play like this pathetic check. Obviously, I don't take with the knight because I need my knight. King takes, bishop f4 only move. And now, rook takes f4. Double exclamation mark! I played the brilliant move. Queen takes, and knight g6. This was round 6 of Prague Open, and I stopped the ultimate machine. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.